Back. Oh, hello. Oh, dead. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Parents, relatives, friends, and any sad or lonely people who don't know anyone graduating today but just came for a good time. Thank you for coming here today to celebrate with us some of the most memorable years of our lives. As I began to prepare these remarks, I was inspired by a notion that a fish never knows it's in water. It occurred to me that the majority of us have spent 7 of the most formative years in our lives swimming in the waters of Archer, if you will. I suspect that most of us have been so focused on where we're going that we haven't thought much about the water that surrounds us. It's just there. Yet it's the water, this pervasive Archer culture, that has made the class of 2013 so exceptional. So, if you will indulge me as I overwork this metaphor, I ask you to think of our Archer experience as a 7-year journey down a long river. Most of us have entered this river together, far from here as iPhone-less, Facebook-less, and tweet-less 11-year-old children, and today as technologically, academically, and emotionally sophisticated young adults. We're at the river's end, about to be dumped into a vast ocean of challenges and opportunities. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I have been a critic just as much as I've been an advocate when it comes to Archer. But one of the things I learned here is that opportunities are accompanied by responsibilities. In this case, a responsibility to be fair as I reflect upon our experiences. One thing that took, once I look at our experience from this unfamiliar perch, I have to acknowledge that many of the things that annoyed and frustrated us when put in perspective were minor, and some of the things that seemed minor turned out to be life-changing. Let's start by recognizing that ours is not the normal high school experience, and often our complaints about what was missing prevented us from seeing what was all around us. In case you missed it, Archer's an all-girls school. So, yeah, we allow males to assist us and even teach us, but at its root, thank you. At its roots, this place is about girls becoming women. And something that took me a while to understand is how special it is to be in a place that helps us become women who can not only speak for themselves, but move into a world with no limitations. We enter this new phase of our lives with the ability to advocate for ourselves. Like it or not, we're feminists. We've been... We're feminists. Yeah, okay. We've been taught to accept our womanhood, realizing that femininity is not a disability. In fact, it's an enormous advantage. However, for those who are entering into a co-ed environment, we must adapt to our new surroundings to some degree, probably understanding that it's inappropriate to yell to a classmate across the room, and do you have a tampon? I don't know. Beyond our ability to express our femininity every which way, I feel sure that my classmates and I have become confident and independent thinkers, something that has not always pleased our parents, especially on topics like tattoos and piercings. As I replay the hours of debate about our parents' decision to have educated us in an all-female format, I think I speak for most of my classmates when I say the trade-offs we made to attend a single-gender school were worth it. Archer's done a great job at preparing us academically to succeed in college and to make sound decisions in life thereafter. But developing our minds is the easy part of education, at least compared to the challenge of developing our values and social and emotional skills that will not only determine our success, but our ability to live gratifying and worthy lives. And that's where Archer has excelled. At the risk of convincing some of you that I have not only been swimming in the Archer River, but I've also been drinking the Kool-Aid from its waters. I want to recognize that without a doubt, the most important and influential thing that makes the Archer Water so special is the faculty. This is an unusual tribe of individualists who have, who have made a mark on so many of us, and often having nothing to do with the subject area they teach. My dad likes to quote historian Henry Adams, "Teachers affect all eternity. You never know where their influence stops." When our teachers implanted in us a new idea or helped us refine our values, they began a ripple effect that goes on endlessly. But our teachers have not only affected eternity, they have affected each one of us in our hearts and souls. I know I have benefited from the caring wisdom of so many teachers here. In most cases, it wasn't a particular thing they said or a single moment that shaped me, but just by doing their job, they changed the way I view the world and myself. Mr. Donald taught me to learn by taught me to love learning. You taught me well. He taught me to love learning simply by encouraging me to think and express myself in an environment where he insisted nothing that I could say is stupid. Mr. Wilkinson's passionate commitment to teach us to think more deeply has proved my understanding of literature and the way I express myself. Mr. Farley opened my eyes to a new practice opened my eyes to a new way to practice my love of storytelling. If it were not for him, I wouldn't be entering the next phase of my education as a film major. It's teachers like these who make us realize we are intellectually capable of so much more than we assumed. Educators often say, you never know the moment in a child's life when you'll make a difference for a lifetime. Just as we always don't really notice when what we've learned, I suppose teachers don't always know when and what they've taught. They don't know that their casual and commonplace comments can be so profound and meaningful to us. I'm sure many different teachers have touched many different classmates of mine in different ways, and I doubt any are leaving these hallowed halls without something to be grateful for. So, my dear teachers, I want to sincerely thank you for what you have made of us. What you taught us directly and by example will affect everything we do from now on. I, for one, hope I will make you proud of what I do with your gifts. But as I think of these people who have made our water so blessed, I can't help but realize how much we've neglected the reason we're swimming here in the first place, our parents. I know. Beyond the rather extraordinary financial investment you've made to place us in these Archer waters, I know our parents deserve apologies as well as gratitude for bearing what in other contexts might be called elder abuse. You've endured our roller coaster emotions, our tantrums, sullen episodes demanding that you leave us alone, and our chastising you for expressing your interest or concern. And yet you have still loved us. You have been belittled and mocked, usually behind your back, and yet you are still always there for us when we need you. Mom and Dad, you have loved me relentlessly and have been my greatest supporters through it all. Even though my experiences that got me here were far from ideal, I regret nothing because I know my relationships with both of you are stronger than ever. I will always be grateful for your guidance, love, and friendship. I suspect that many of my classmates have similar confessions to make, and I hope you don't let this day end without expressing them. Filled with Archer and parent-instilled confidence, I think I'm going to make something of myself. And if I do, a great deal of credit goes to all who have given me the values, skills, and attitudes to pursue my grand dreams. Finally, I want to address a group of lovely ladies traveling under the name Class of 2013. I know we've all been sucker punched by adolescence. In my case, my struggle to understand my self-identity was far messier than I had hoped. The aftermath of personally traumatic events caused me to doubt myself and unfairly attribute harmful intentions on you. It wasn't until this year that the healing waters of Archer has helped me realize that my self-projected and self-defeating cynicism caused me to blame my classmates for the attitudes and conduct of others. I was brought to this realization by an incident I will always regard as a true portrait of my classmates. At the end of the presidential election, each Archer student was asked to indicate from a list what they thought was the most important issue. Each issue was represented by a colored flag, which would then decorate the school's lawn, providing a visual representation of the issues held most closely to each girl's heart. And to be quite honest, I don't really remember what the other colored flags represented because all I could see was purple. The majority of the lawn showed this community's support for gay marriage, and there was no way for me not to cry. After seeing the lawn, the seniors had the opportunity to reflect on what we saw. I had to express to my class how much it meant to me and how grateful I am to be in a community that cares and respects the values of who I am and my right to love whom I choose. I realize how much I value you. I want to thank you for reminding me that intolerance and cruelty cannot survive in the waters we swim in. The truth is, I've drawn on the lessons I've learned here to find strength and confidence to proudly choose to acknowledge who I am, because I admire and respect each and every one of you. Thank you. So, what is the Archer we will say goodbye to today? It's not a perfect place populated by perfect people. It's a place where we have laughed and cried, a place that's infuriated us and inspired us. It is a place where we got the first glimpse of who we are and what we can be. It's a pretty good place, and I'm blessed with the memories and relationships with all of you who made it what it was for me. Thank you.